of all, what powers the sun and the stars? It's scalar energy. Well, I am working with the prime force, the moving force, the animating force of the universe. I'm in my laboratory now, and behind me is a scalar energy instrument that acts like a star. These are not electrical instruments. This is a scalar energy instrument that, if you will broadcast that type of massless energy.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. All right, welcome back, guys. We are here on the Digital Social Hour, first ever virtual interview. I was so impressed by the guest today. I had to make it happen ASAP. We got Tom Paladino here. How's it going, Tom?
I am well. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive into what you do and what scalar energy is. Could you quickly describe what scalar energy is?
Yes, it's the energy of the sun and the stars. I work with scalar energy instruments. I'm essentially following the laws of physics. And with these instruments, I can control this energy. It's, if you will, massless energy. There's no electrons or protons involved. Some of you might realize this is Tesla energy or 0-point energy.
Right. You said Tesla energy. So this type of energy is what Nikola Tesla was working on, right?
That's correct. That's the free energy that he was working on the latter part of his life. He was no longer interested in AC electricity. Tesla was really interested in this massless energy.
Wow. And what makes this energy from the stars so powerful? What can you do with this energy?
Yeah, well, let's look at the universe, first of all. What powers the sun and the stars? It's scalar energy. Electricity and magnetism are a derivative of scalar energy. So I am working with the prime force, the moving force, the animating force of the universe. Now, to prove that, I've developed and perfected scalar energy instruments. I'm in my laboratory now, and behind me is a scalar energy instrument that acts like a star. These are not electrical instruments. This is a scalar energy instrument that, if you will broadcast that type of massless energy.
Wow. Yeah, I know you've got a demonstration to show. Do you want to get into it?
I do. Okay. So this instrument is operating. These Tesla coils are broadcasting scalar energy. There's so much energy in my laboratory that if I hold up a light bulb to the instrument, it will illuminate under the influence of scalar energy. So this is the ambient energy that's coming off of this instrument. And again, it's not an electrical instrument. This is, if you will, a miniature star.
Wow.
Now, to demonstrate this energy so strong, it can pass through anything. It can pass through the earth. I'm going to demonstrate by a quick demonstration with a wood plank. This is a cutting board.
Okay.
And if I place this cutting board in front of the instrument, nonetheless, the energy will find its way through the wooden board and illuminate a light bulb.
Wow.
So this is not per se an electrical instrument. This is a scalar energy instrument in which nothing can impede its signal. So what is scalar energy? It's a massless energy that can travel through the earth, that can travel through the galaxies. Nothing can stop this energy. So this is the life force energy of the universe. I want to make that clear. I'm trying to inculcate that principle with your audience.
Wow. So there's no limit to how far it can reach. So you can be in Florida and that can reach Asia.
Yes, thank you. Now, my predecessor, a man by the name of Hieronymus, who achieved a U.S. patent for this instrument, I actually was an understudy with that family, Hieronymus. If you will, Hieronymus at one time was working with the Apollo 11 astronauts. I'm going to hold up a photograph. Hieronymus and NASA were working together during the Apollo 11 lunar mission, and Hieronymus was able to track, if you will, the astronauts by way of their photograph while they were orbiting the moon. So what's the point that I'm making? This has a long history of science. It has a US patent. And at one time, my predecessor was working with NASA because they were so intrigued with this energy, they granted Hieronymus the ability to track, to monitor these astronauts through their photographic force field during the Apollo 11 mission.
Wow. So they were able to reach astronauts on the moon with this energy.
That's correct. That's correct. So that's just, if you will, just a ground floor understanding of the science behind this, scalar energy. Very few scientists have ever been able to achieve this type of instrumentation to harness and control scalar energy. I am one of them.
Now, is it true you're able to simply receive a photo of someone's face and treat them of diseases with this?
Yes, yes. Now, to be clear, before we get into this, this is not Newtonian physics. This is a new branch of physics. And everything I do is, if you will, non-physical. So to explain to your audience, I work with people around the world by way of an emailed photograph.
Hmm.
This is my photograph. My photograph has a signature or a force field attached to it. If I were to place my photograph inside this instrument, the instrument would understand my force field and direct energy into my force field. Now, it's not a biological process, it's an energetic process working through the different, if you will, dimension of scalar energy. It's not electromagnetic energy.
Wow. So you holding up your photograph to that device, what does that do to you?
Yeah, for instance, I can feel this right now because the instrument is pulsing. Scalar energy is a pulse, it's not a sinusoidal wave. Now, if you will, if I place my photograph close to the instrument, I enjoy that amount of light that enters into my quantum plane, or what I would say my psyche, or would have an advantageous effect on my brain waves.
Hmm.
So the amount of energy that enters into that light bulb is the identical amount of energy entering into my chakras or my aura, or what some people might say my subconscious. So we make now the connection, not through a person, but through their photograph. I only work with photographs. Why? A photograph represents a bilocated version of a person.
Mm.
Now, we're having a Zoom conference.
Hmm.
You are not in my laboratory. I'm not in your studio. We're sharing an image. If you could do that by Zoom, you can do that by scalar energy. I share an image with this instrument, and this image will find my signature or find my scalar energy, if you will, code or intelligence.
Fascinating. And does it matter how old the image is? Does it have to be a recent photo of you?
That's an excellent question. No, because scalar energy is timeless. Now, we're working with the concept of this blanket of the universe, what some people call consciousness. And on account of that fact, there is no time. We're outside of the electromagnetic spectrum. There is no time. There's only the present moment. So regardless of the age of the photograph, it still reports my present constitution.
Mm.
Now, to go back to my analogy, when Hieronymus, my predecessor, was working with the Apollo 11 astronauts, that photograph may have been a few months old, but it still reported the exact biorhythms of the astronauts while they are on the moon, a quarter of a million miles away. Meaning what? That a photograph carries the immediate constitution, the soul, mind, and body of a person is embedded upon a photograph in the present moment. It's always real time.
Wow. So what if the person has passed away? What would happen if you put the photograph in that?
It's still recording in real time. There is no past. So you would be still, if you will, checking, monitoring the biorhythms, the aura of that person at the present moment.
Wow. So you can even just put George Washington's photo there and it would register?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. My predecessors, again, a man by the name of Galen Hieronymus, was able to take photographs supplied to him by the United States Army, and he was able to pinpoint the location, if you will, of soldiers on the theater of war.
Wow.
Meaning what? Regardless of what impediment, physical barrier, etc., scalar energy will pinpoint a person, pinpoint an object anywhere in the universe.
Hmm. Why do you think this isn't more widely adopted? It seems like it's a very niche space right now.
It is. I think it's poorly understood. I'm trying to advance this science, but very few people want to devote a career to this. Very few people have advanced to the point that I have to have these instruments that can harness and control scalar energy. This is still quite esoteric.
Right. And you must get a lot of skepticism and doubt as well.
I don't, Sean, and I'll tell you why. What I'm doing is grounded in science. I follow the laws of science, and for instance, my website has thousands of favorable testimonies.
Hmm.
So if people don't quite understand the science, they can still go to the website and read approximately 4,000 testimonies in which people say that, yes, this has benefited them, soul, mind, and body, that their health in some way has improved.
Yeah, because it's been previously thought that HIV was and you've been able to treat over 5,000 people that previously had HIV, right?
Yeah, I'm going to explain that. Thank you for mentioning that. I'm working with a clinic in Delhi, India. This clinic is called Om Prakash.
Mm-hmm.
And I've worked with, as you mentioned, over 5,000 people at this clinic in Delhi, India. Now, I only work again through photographs, so it's a quantum session. It has nothing to do with biology, it has nothing to do with Western medicine. Now, working with this group in Delhi, India, after I've submitted their photographs to the sessions, people sometimes have a follow-up PCR test.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the follow-up PCR tests. This is from the founder. This is from the founder. You can see that's no viral load. I don't know if you can see that clearly.
Yeah.
But after working with this gentleman, his name is Sahil, after 13 years of being HIV positive, he has no viral load whatsoever. Now, I'm going to explain how this works and follow my consecution, because this is an energy instrument and we only work with intelligence. It has nothing to do with biochemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hold up two photographs. Below, I hold up the photograph of the group. At least this is part of the group in Delhi, India. Om Prakash HIV/AIDS Clinic, people living with HIV/AIDS. Now, adjacent to that photograph, I have placed a magnified photograph of HIV, human immunodeficiency virus.
Right.
There is a sharing of information. It's not a biological process. We share information. The signal from HIV shares with the people. If we can identify the signal or the signature of HIV in a person, then this instrument will not only identify the signature of HIV, but bring it to a state of chaos. Now, let me explain. In operation, and again, everything is energy. There's no human reasoning here.
Right.
Placing these two photographs in a quantum field, I can download the signature, if you will, and try to find the signature of HIV in the people.
Mm.
Again, everything is a light process. We're downloading light. And this light is corrective, this light is interpretive. And in so doing, this arrangement, I've simplified it, but this arrangement inside this instrument will allow me to source the signal of the HIV virus.
Mm.
And if I can find that signal in a person, I reduce that signal to a state of chaos.
Wow, that is fascinating. And let's say someone has HIV, how often would they need to do this treatment? Is it a daily ongoing thing?
Well, no, it usually only takes one session. And
wow.
We can bring the HIV virus to a state of chaos. Now, I want people to understand that my work is groundbreaking. It's unprecedented. Nobody has this instrument. Nobody has my technique, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask the audience to suppress judgment and go to my website, and you'll find PCR tests of people who at one time were HIV positive. This is before and after a woman in Cameroon, Africa, claims that she no longer has a viral load.
Mm.
Now, the testimonies are the body of evidence that we have to go by now. Why? Because nobody else has duplicated my results. No other scientific body has been able to prove or disprove what I'm doing. So I ask people to be open-minded, go to my website and you'll read thousands of testimony. Here are some testimonies for the HIV virus. Now, another PCR test of an individual who at one time was positive. After this individual submitted their photograph to us, this instrument can detect the signature of HIV and reduce it to a state of chaos. Now, some people choose to have a follow-up PCR test, maybe 3, 4, 5 months after our sessions. And in this case, the HIV virus is not detected. No viral load whatsoever for HIV.
Amazing.
These test results are standard with us. What am I getting at, Sean? This is common now, and I don't mean to be flippant. I don't mean to be condescending. This is common with us. When people come to us with a viral load or some type of virus, after after we work with them, if the people choose to have a follow-up PCR test, invariably, there's no viral load. Here's another test result for HIV. So the evidence is forthcoming, and the evidence is quite stellar. We're having great success with people.
Incredible. I'm just wondering, can this be used in the wrong hands? Can this be?
The key to our.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry, it's breaking up.
I can hear you loud and clear. The key to my work, the key to my work is I work along these lines in which I'm trying to improve what I call energetic health or quantum health. Like anything, it could be used for harm. So I'm guarded with this technology. I'm not going to release the schematics, so to speak, to the general public.
Right, because you're using it to, this right now, but in the wrong hands, someone can implant disease, right?
Well, I don't know if that's possible. I'll tell you why. You'd have to create the DNA or RNA. You'd have to actually create a genome, and I cannot do that. I don't know of anybody who's been able to successfully create a genome. But to cut to the chase here, this is a great deal of energy. It's powerful. These are powerful instruments in which I could work with one person by way of their photograph, or I can work with 20 or 2,000 or 2 million people by way of their photograph.
Wow.
So the point is that on account of the fact that we can transcend time and space, and a photograph is not bound by time and space, obviously, and the day is coming that we could easily work with 2 to 3 million people a day, this carries a grave responsibility.
So you have the potential to treat the entire world almost.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Yes.
It must.
Thank you. And very astute. Thank you. And just to be candid, yes, if I can treat 20 people, I can treat 20,000 people, I can treat 2 million people. Once the world participates, we could treat 2 billion people. Yes.
Wow. So how does it feel to have that much power in your hands? I'm assuming Big Pharma and the government wouldn't want you to be able to pull that off.
I come from a Christian background. I rely upon God, and God has called me to this type of healing ministry. It's unique. What I'm doing is unprecedented. It is a great honor, but it's a great responsibility. And I thank you for seeing where this is going. You extrapolate as I do. We can make that projection in the future. With your help and the help of other people, we'll get there.
Absolutely. And how expensive is this treatment? Because compared to typical health treatments in the US, which range, 5-6 figures, this seems pretty efficient.
Yeah, it is. And I'm not in this to make money. So to start, anybody in the world can visit our website. We'll work with them for free for 15 days. Mm-hmm. So I want to work with as many people as possible by way of their photograph. You just email us your photograph. We offer 15 days of free sessions. Thereafter, we have an inexpensive rate of $89 a month. So we make it very affordable.
I love that. And right now, there's a mental health epidemic in the U.S. and worldwide, and this could be used to help with depression and anxiety as well, right?
That's correct. Now, I'm going to go back to this analogy, this experiment. If that amount of energy is going into a light bulb, when I place a person's photograph next to the Tesla coil, that's the identical amount of energy, corrective energy, entering into the mind or the psyche or the aura, or call it the soul. So keep in mind, my work is non-physical. It's all information. This is an information system. So I, if you will, avoid biological consequences. This has nothing to do with biology. The human biology does not play a factor in this. This is a new science in which we can work with non-physical energy to balance the brain waves, to balance our emotions.
Wow.
Some people tell me that the chakra balancing is so powerful. Again, if I can illuminate a light bulb, I can illuminate the human mind. This is a chakra balancing or brain wave balancing. If it's so strong to illuminate a light bulb, then some people say that this has helped them lift them out of depression or anxiety. Others have said that this has helped them wean off of cigarettes or other tobacco products. Some people say that they drink less alcohol. I know one gentleman once who told me, I no longer have a heroin addiction. And all he did was submit a photograph to us.
Wow.
So I I believe the future of mental health will be through scalar energy, which is, again, non-physical instruction. So we're getting away from chemical intervention, and we're going to the instructions of the stars, this divine energy that will hopefully prove to be beneficial to people with depression, mental health issues, including addictions.
I love that so much because they put me on Xanax for months and it really messed me up, man. So that hits deep with me.
Yeah, yeah.
How
You see the picture here, Sean. The energy is fundamental. I'm working according to the laws of science. So this instrument allows me to work within that fabric, within that framework. Now, frankly, my work is flawless. I'm going to explain that once again. I'm going to use you as an example.
Mhm.
Sean sent me this photograph earlier today. Let's say Sean had Epstein-Barr. Now, what am I getting at? I can identify the signature of Epstein-Barr with this instrument in Sean's aura, or in his, if you will, quantum field.
Mm.
These two photographs would communicate with one another. And in so doing, placing these two photographs, I've simplified the matter, but placing those two photographs inside the instrument, there's a download of corrective light in which Epstein-Barr, if Sean had that, we would source it, we would find that signature of Epstein-Barr and reduce it to a state of chaos. And again, it's not a biological process, it's an informational process through the force field on a photograph. Sean does not have to come to my laboratory.
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys. Wow.
Your photograph is your bilocated version. I never work with people. This instrument is not designed to work with people. It's only designed to work with photographs. A photograph is a bilocated version of a person. Now, I see you in my computer. You're in your studio in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You see me in my laboratory, where you and I are bilocating by way of this Zoom conference call. So if you can bilocate by way of a Zoom call, then you can bilocate through a scalar energy instrument. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah.
Free energy of the sun and the stars. This is how this energy behaves. Again, you can't achieve this with electricity. I can't place my photograph or your photograph, Sean, in a refrigerator or an air conditioning unit or an airplane. It won't act that way. I can only access a quantum field through a quantum instrument.
Incredible. Now, when you say reduce to a state of chaos, what does that mean? It basically is dormant?
No, it loses its molecular and atomic intelligence. Now consider, if I use my two fingers, and this represents the atomic structure, the molecular structure of anything, there's an intelligence, a covalent bond, hydrogen bond. So what am I saying? A scalar energy instrument will negate a covalent bond, will negate a hydrogen bond, will disrupt that energy field. It's not a physical field, it's a non-physical informational field. So by reducing anything to a state of chaos, it lacks that intelligence. If Epstein-Barr has been reduced by way of chaos, then it lacks that molecular and atomic structure. It essentially falls apart, or it's reduced to a non-functioning, I would say, energetic field.
Wow. So walk me through this. Let's say someone has herpes, they have cold sores on their mouth. They send you a photo. How long would it take to treat that?
Yeah, I'll explain. Okay, once again, this is my photograph, and this is a magnified photograph. This is a Wikipedia photograph that I downloaded, a magnified photograph of herpes. It only takes one session for this scalar energy instrument to pick up the signature of herpes, find it in my quantum field, my energy field, and reduce the herpes virus to a signal of chaos. we take away its intelligence. We reduce the intelligence to non-functioning. We reduce that intelligence to a state of chaos. So it's not a physical process. We're taking the intelligence of herpes. This instrument would automatically, if you will, reverse the phase angle of the herpes signature, and herpes would cease to exist because it no longer has the intelligence to form.
Wow. So it would be pretty instantaneous, you're saying?
Yes, correct. It only takes within a split second. Yes.
Man.
Why do I say that? By experience. I've worked with people. Some people say, Tom, I just want one session. I provide one session to their photograph. After I do so, they feel better. And some people say that they had relief. Now, this is their statement to me. After one session with a photograph, they have relief. They no longer have some type of symptom. Well, that's the description that people have shared with me. So I have to respect that. But in theory, now I'm theorizing, if I can reduce a virus to a state of chaos, that happens within an instant. And hence, this is an instantaneous process.
Incredible. And would this work on other animals, or is it limited to humans?
Yeah, it works on animals too. I have 2 dogs. I work with my dogs all the time. My dogs are very healthy. About 3 months ago, somebody sent me a photograph from Australia of a kangaroo. The kangaroo had a bacterial infection, and I'm able to, if you will, once again, source the energy or source the signal of a bacterium. This is streptococcus, let's say. And I would download this intelligence. I would ask this intelligence to, if you will, seek out that signal in the kangaroo. And in so doing, I can obliterate, I can, if you will, reduce to a state of chaos, even a bacterium. So the upshot is this. After a couple months, the gentleman contacted me and he said, Tom, thanks a lot. The kangaroo no longer has a bacterial infection. Now, that was from a kangaroo in Australia. I live in the United States. So I'll let the audience try to, if you will, surmise what properties are at hand here, what type of physics this is, whereby a photograph of a kangaroo allows me to access the quantum field, the energy field of that kangaroo.
So fascinating, because I previously thought diseases were living on a physical level, but now, according to what you're saying, they're on a quantum level.
Yes, they are. Everything is intelligence. And first comes the instructions, then comes the physical action. So thank you for making that clear. Why is my work important? Because it shows that the first cause, it shows that the animating force is energy, light, which stands to reason. What is fundamental? Light, energy. Everything else, the biological processes, are not fundamental. So every biological process, whether it's a human or animal, owes its existence to something of a higher order. And that higher order is intelligence, scalar intelligence. So if my theory is correct, scalar energy is the, if will, governing body of intelligence for everything.
Wow.
For all action in the universe owes its existence to this animating force.
Can scalar energy be used to help with obesity?
Yes. Let me explain. We have a program also wrapped in our I'm going to hold up riboflavin. This is a vitamin that has energy. Yes, you can take this, you can ingest this, but with my technique, I never use physical mass. And by download the energy into me or into my quantum field. So this is not going to attribute to any caloric intake. This is not a metabolic process. Rather, we're receiving our vitamins by way of energy. Now, in so doing, when people have that sufficient energetic signature of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, it suppresses their appetite. For instance, today I've only had one meal. I'm not hungry. Why? Because all day long I've been working with my photographic signature with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, amino acids, downloading the energy of those micronutrients, suppressing my diet, suppressing my desire for food.
Wow.
And also enhancing, if you will, what I would consider my well-being. with energetic vitamins, with scalarized vitamins, with scalarized nutrients, with scalarized, if you will, antioxidants. So to answer your question, many people who go on our program receive their nutrition that they need finally at the quantum level, and that suppresses their appetite. And by virtue of that fact, they no longer have the desire for food. They can miss a meal.
Wow. That is so incredible because there's people that are taking hundreds of pills every day, but with this, they could just download the vitamins.
Yeah. I per se do not take any multivitamins. I don't dissuade people from doing so. I'll speak for myself. This particular type of arrangement that I have allows, if you will, over 350 micronutrients to be downloaded or to be imparted by way of intelligence. So it's not, again, a biological process. We're imparting the signature of micronutrients. And in so doing, I enjoy optimal health. I'm 63 years of age and I enjoy a robust lifestyle. I'm very healthy.
Man, you look good for 63. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, how far can you take this? Because there's theories of Nikola Tesla time traveling. Is there some really big stuff you could do with this?
Yeah. Well, by the way, Sean sent me his photographs of the weekend, and you've been time traveling to my laboratory. Now, let me just be candid. Again, this is your photograph. And while you were in Los Angeles, a different time zone, your body double, or your, if you will, your animated scalar energy form on the photograph is inside my laboratory here on the East Coast.
Mm.
You're in two places at once, correct?
Yeah.
You were time traveling. You've been time traveling all weekend. And just as Dr. Hieronymus was able to work with the Apollo 11 astronauts, through his laboratory here in the United States, he still was able to find the signal of the astronauts on this photograph, even though the astronauts were 250,000 miles away. Now that's time travel.
Wow.
Hieronymus was not working with the astronauts on the moon. He was working with their bilocated version, which is a photograph that carries light. See, why do I like my work so much? I only work with light. There's no room for human error.
Mm.
This photograph of the Apollo 11 astronauts is a source of light. It's unique to them. And light never makes a mistake. So when I place a person's photograph inside this instrument, it's a light instrument that's imparting light into my quantum field by way of a photograph.
Mm.
My work is flawless on account of the fact there's no human reasoning. There's no human action. There's only divine action of energy, of scalar energy.
Wow. So there's no room for human error with this method.
That's correct. Now, to further that, anytime I work with people by way of their photograph, there's never any type of dial or chemical reaction or dizziness, headache, there's no fatigue upon a person. Hence, this is not a biological process. People never have any untoward effect. There's never a negative side effect. Why? Because a photograph cannot experience a biological side effect.
Mm. Wow. That is legendary. Now, what about telepathy? Is there a way to do that with this?
Yes. Many people who go under the program, they say within the first day or two, the chakra bouncing improves their dream state, or that they have a greater sense of awareness, or perhaps that they're a heightened sense of not only awareness, but creativity. Meaning what? Most likely the animating force behind telepathy or clairvoyance is the scalar realm. Scalar energy explains telepathy or time travel. You see, when we speak about these phenomenon, this cannot be explained readily by electromagnetic behavior. Why? It's scalar energy that animates telepathy. Scalar energy is responsible for time travel. When Tesla was building his Wardenclyffe Tower outside of New York City on Long Island, that was a scalar energy tower. Much like my tower, there were no moving parts. If I show the audience the instrument, this instrument has no moving parts. There's no motion. So you might say, well, how do you derive the kinetic energy? The kinetic energy is from the sun and the stars. This instrument has no moving parts. So what's the point here? Tesla's instrument, if you will, his Wardenclyffe Tower, had no moving parts. It simply captured the energy of the sun and the stars. This is what I'm doing. I'm not working with an electrical current. This instrument allows me to capture a scalar wave. Why is that important? It's a different branch of physics. And this allows us now to have, if you will, at least a working model of free energy. Behind me is a free energy instrument that I don't need an infrastructure for. You can imagine how favorable this will be to the world economy if you don't have to build an infrastructure. I could work with anybody, their quantum field anywhere in the world. When my predecessor, Hieronymus, was working with the Apollo 11 astronauts, he did not need a substation, satellites, cell phone towers. The universe is the infrastructure. It's free energy from the sun and the stars, and the infrastructure, the universe, is the, if you will, transmission. This is all free energy with a free infrastructure.
So fascinating. It's like solar energy, but on steroids, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That's
correct.
And I'd imagine aliens and ancient civilizations had some form of this energy, right?
Yeah, if I look at my research and that of Dr. Hieronymus, we both demonstrated that scalar energy is the cause of gravity. Dr. Hieronymus was able to levitate objects with his scalar energy device.
Wow.
So what am I getting at? Scalar energy will override. Scalar energy can negate gravity. Now, once again, if I can negate, if you will, the energy of the herpes virus by way of scalar energy, if I can bring the intelligence of the herpes virus to a state of chaos, then Dr. Hieronymus was able to negate a gravity wave. He was able to negate gravity and create anti-gravity.
Holy crap. So you literally have the ability to make stuff levitate right there?
Not yet. Dr. Hieronymus has done so. I've seen, if you will, other researchers. You might want to look this up. His name is Viktor Grebennikov. He was a Russian, and he developed a flying platform that was an anti-gravity platform. There's actually photographs of him experiencing anti-gravity. How did he do that? By negating scalar intelligence. If scalar energy causes gravity, then you can negate that, if you will, intelligence, and you could levitate.
Wow. Is this why there's no gravity in space?
That's one of the reasons, because it's not acted upon. You need a certain atmosphere for a scalar wave to manifest as gravity. Now, you'll see this in some insects. Take, for instance, the bumblebee. I'll go on record by saying the bumblebee is not aerodynamically adept. The bumblebee levitates. The bumblebee experiences anti-gravity. The bumblebee is an example of anti-gravity in nature. Bumblebees do not fly. They experience a scalar energy environment in which they create a local anti-gravity environment, and they levitate.
Wow, I never knew that. I thought their wings propelled them to fly.
No, the wingspan is just too small. It's just the surface area is just too small.
Interesting.
You have to look into that. Even Grebennikov, this Russian scientist, said that there are many insects that levitate. He found that beetles also were able to levitate. That their wings are just too small. There's just not enough surface area to get that lift.
I love it. Well, Tom, what are your goals with this? Where do you want to take this thing?
Well, this is very easy to use. I mean, let's face it. If all it takes is a photograph and I can access somebody's quantum field, then why not? Why not work with millions of people around the world by way of their photograph? So I'm trying to get the word out. And thank you for this opportunity. Now, those who want to investigate further, I'm just going to go through this quickly. Go to the website. You'll find test result after test result of people who claim they no longer have herpes. There's no viral load there for herpes. Another test result, no viral load for herpes.
Wow.
Go to our website. Do your due diligence. Why would all of these testimonies be forthcoming of people who tell me that they no longer have a viral load for herpes or Epstein-Barr or the shingles virus? Why do people tell me that their dream state is enhanced? There has to be some merit to this. We have thousands of testimonies now. We have this track record, this abundance of testimonies. That's the beginning body of evidence. Subjective, but nonetheless quite telling.
Yeah, I even saw Lyme disease, hepatitis. You can also help with parasites. There's a lot that this thing can do, man.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. It really is unlimited, and I'll tell you why. If this is the animating force of nature, and we learn how to control this animating force, then we can control nature.
Love
I
it.
mean every word of that. This will give us dominion over certain aspects of nature.
Wow. Well, Tom, it's been great. I'm super inspired by you. I can't wait to see what you do with this. Where can people find you and where can people reach out to you?
I want people to go to our website, do your due diligence, scalarlight.com. And if you're inclined, register, sign up for the 15-day free sessions. You're going to email us your photograph. That's it. Your photograph has your signature. Scalarlight.com, SCALAR.com. You can include your family members, you can include them likewise, and we'll work with everybody in your family. No questions asked, free of charge for 15 days. Scalarlight.com.
Love it. Thanks so much, Tom. We'll put it in the description. I hope thousands, maybe even millions of people will use it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for your time.
All right. See you guys next time.